And welcome back to Who Would Win? A special birthday Who Would Win for Nick Hammer, who asked the question in a three-way fight, who would win, Shao Kahn, Darksied, or Thanos? Now, obviously, we have to look at these guys without any sort of augmentation whatsoever. Then we can look at them basically at their strongest forms. As such, I'm going to tell you right now, Darkseid is going to win the fight if we're just talking about their base form. Shao Kahn is an elder god. Yes, he has many different abilities, 100%. He's physically much stronger than a normal human. Telekinesis, soul manipulation, if I'm not mistaken. He can summon his hammer for combat, energy conjuring, among other things, and an expert fighter. The problem is that everything base form Shao Kahn has demonstrated, Thanos and Darkseid just completely trump him and everything else, because while he does have mysticism on his side, so does Darkseid and Thanos. Darkseid and Thanos can go toe-to-toe with individuals like Superman and the Hulk, which are leagues physically stronger than anyone pretty much in the Mortal Kombat universe. Ability-wise, these guys have survived being basically thrown into mass explosions, black holes, going toe-to-toe with someone like Galactus in Thanos' case. Darkseid has, been blown up, jettisoned out into space. And really, what you see with Darkseid is really just an avatar that he creates, because he actually exists in the fourth world as this kind of incorporeal being. So Shao Kahn, then that's not even displaying the fact that all the kind of energy attacks he can throw at him, they can do right back. Darkseid has the Omega beams and the Omega effect. Thanos can manipulate cosmic energy on a whim. Both are geniuses. I mean, Shao Kahn's not stupid, but both are geniuses compared to him. They both have mental manipulation as well, which Shao Kahn has that. He could possibly resist it, but still, both are clearly near the same age, if not older than Shao Kahn as well. So they all have roughly an equal amount of experience to their name. So it's just a matter of Shao Kahn would fall short in a base form fight. Thanos, I once did a versus with Thanos versus Darkseid. And I still contend that he could probably win with the Infinity Gauntlet. I do think Death Battle did him a little dirty, to be fair. But whatever. And we'll talk more about that. We're talking about, augmenting your forms. Base form to base form, Thanos could go toe-to-toe with Darkseid, an avatar of Darkseid, to be for sure. The problem is those Omega Beams really are difficult to deal with if you don't have an immediate answer to them. And while Thanos can survive a lot, I don't think he can survive the Mega Beams straight out. So without the help of the Infinity Gems or Infinity Stones. So yeah, base form to base form to base form, Darkseid wins that fight. But now let's actually look at them augmented with their actual powers. So not one above all, but one being Shao Kahn would be what we'd be using here. That's basically, the one being is kind of the de facto god of the Mortal Kombat universe and multiverse. It's obviously, Shao Kahn becomes on a multiversal level a true god. And the only way I think they stopped him, or had to stop him, was to go back in time and prevent him from becoming it. So that would be the Shao Kahn we're using. And you can imagine all the abilities he has, plus everything you'd have as a multiversal deity. With Thanos, we'd have to probably look at not the Infinity Gauntlets, but Thanos with the heart of the universe. Because that, I think, is kind of Thanos at his most powerful. Yes, he kind of became Eternity at one point, but honestly, Heart of the Universe Thanos is stronger than that. He's stronger than that. And there was recently a comic with him and Kang, where he became this omnipotent deity as well. Though it's arguable, again, Heart of the Universe Thanos would be stronger than that as well. Although it did say that I think they said he killed the one above all, so maybe that one version's stronger. Either way, it's that would be your strongest version of Thanos in the general continuity of things. And then Darkseid's difficult, because Darkseid, you'd have to give him the Omega effect, but you'd also have to probably be dealing with him in his true form, which is a being who arguably is multiversal as well. So, because there was the whole the dark multiverse storylines, and they had Darkseid. We had to assume it's the same Darkseid. Even if there is multiple universes, it's all the same Darkseid, because all the Darkseids you see are just extensions of that Darkseid. So right out the gate now, you actually have a bit of a turn here, because of these individuals, Heart of the Universe Thanos, in fact, I'm going to just get that up just to clarify how strong that guy is. How strong is heart of the universe Thanos. Heart strong is heart of the universe. How powerful is the heart of the universe? There you go. Or how powerful? So, Darksied can grant a person enough power to make them one of the most powerful beings in the universe. The individual becomes powerful enough to take the entities that represent key concepts of the universe itself. Okay, that doesn't really mean. Okay, heart of the universe. Let's see here. Heart of the universe. Yeah. So it doesn't really give me a true explanation of just how strong the heart of the universe is, how powerful the heart of the universe actually was or is, because it's a one shot too. That's the thing. But just see. Hold on. How did Thanos get the heart of the universe? Yeah, it looked like he was still limited to the universe, the singular universe. So he was not a multiversal being at that point. Which means, though, to be fair, it means that while he's probably weaker than Shao Kahn and Thanos and Darkseid, now you might be saying, well, wait a minute, you just said that Thanos could beat Darkseid with the Infinity Gauntlet. I did, but there's a catch-22 to that as well. Because while I feel like they did Thanos a little dirty, to be fair, I do think what they did with Darkseid, basically luring him out into his separate dimension where the Infinity Gauntlet can't work, I do think that's a very logical scenario that could happen. Now, to be fair, Superman was able to mess up True Form Darkseid by singing, if I'm not mistaken. Comics are weird. So I'm not certain why Thanos couldn't do something similar, because I do think Thanos would be on par with someone like Superman, definitely. Now, you go full power, Superman's charged by the sun, been in there for 15 minutes, all that, different story. But anyway, so yeah, I think he'd put up a very good fight against these guys, because unlike the Infinity Gauntlet, I don't believe the Heart of the Universe is limited to the actual Marvel Universe itself. If you take him out of the Marvel Universe, he still has those powers, because we actually see at one point, after he kind of races the universe to some degree, him and Adam Warlock, who was hiding in a pocket dimension, have a conversation with each other, and he still had all that power. So it's one of those scenarios where I think he'd give them he'd pose a bigger threat to Darkseid, I think, than he would to Shao Kahn, because Shao Kahn's form at that point is very debatable, because he could kind of turn himself probably into an incorporeal entity. Whereas Darkseid still has an actual form. Granted, it's kind of incorporeal itself. It doesn't have a true physical form, but he still has that form. So, while I initially said, and I realized as I was talking to him, I initially said Thanos might probably be on the opposite end of the spectrum, I actually think he would pose a bigger threat to Darkseid, because he would, just like with the Infinity Gauntlet, he would be able to counter the Omega Beams right off the bat. So they're not going to do anything to him in the said universe. So if Darkseid tries to draw him towards his true form, that might actually hurt his ass hard, because he would still have all the power of the Heart of the Universe in him. Whereas the Infinity Gauntlet, because that's the thing, the Infinity Gauntlet, if it were able to work, I think would still pose a legitimate threat to true form Darkseid. I still believe that. But the problem is, for true form Darkseid to exist in our universe, he literally just existing would destroy our universe. And it can't work in his universe, obviously. So if you had a scenario where he was able to face off against the Infinity Gauntlet effectively, yes, I still think the Infinity Gauntlet might be able to take him down. And the Infinity Gauntlet is not as strong as the Heart of the Universe. What's stronger than the Heart of the Universe? Is there anything stronger with the Infinity Gauntlet, which is one of the most powerful? However, since the Heart of the Universe is a piece of the universe itself, the Living Tribunal is part of it as well. Therefore, the Heart of the Universe is even more powerful than the Living Tribunal. The only thing that the Heart of the Universe might be below is the One Above All. That's the only thing the Heart of the Universe might actually be weaker than, at least in the Marvel Universe. So that now poses the real question then still. Who wins this fight when you're dealing with two multiversal beings and a high universal level being who, then again, it's stronger than a living tribunal, so it technically is strong enough to deal with multiversal beings, even though it's still technically universal. So a universal of a being with the power to deal with multiversal beings. That's the question. In terms of true arrogance, I am going to say that Shao Kahn, I think, is the most arrogant among them. Because unlike the other two, Shao Kahn does not strategize normally that far ahead, and he's not really a genius in any real sense. He's not dumb, but the other two have high genius level intellect. Particularly Thanos is very much stated to be like a true super genius. Darkseid is also, but it's more through long term, playing the long game strategies. Shao Kahn can make a good plan now and then, but again, intelligence wise, I think these two definitely trump him, and I think his hubris is bigger than the others because he's the one who tends to fail more often than not. I mean, he won how many Mortal Kombats, and he keeps losing to Earthrealm, whereas Thanos and Darkseid on multiple occasions have wreaked havoc. Granted, they've lost more times than they've won also, but they've always just seemed to pose a bigger threat because of what they're trying to do more often than what Shao Kahn's trying to do. Shao Kahn becoming the one being is only in one storyline, whereas Thanos has gotten the Infinity Gauntlet multiple times. Darkseid has used the Omega effect multiple times. The Omega Sanction, anti-life equation. So he's both these guys have just succeeded more than Shao Kahn actually has. And I think power-wise, because it's a three-way fight, I think they would I think, honestly, Darkseid might recognize Shao Kahn being a multiversal being as more of a threat than Thanos being a universal being with having the power of a multiversal being. Or to take on a multiversal being. So I think, honestly, Darkseid and Thanos would immediately okay, we'll deal with each other when it's over. And because they would probably recognize him as... Thanos would probably recognize Darkseid as the greater threat, but would actually probably help take down Shao Kahn first, knowing that it would most likely weaken Darkseid. Then if you deal with a weakened true form Darkseid versus Thanos with the heart of the universe, I'm honestly going to say Thanos with the heart of the universe. Now, I think it would be close, and I think there are scenarios where Darkseid comes out the winner in this. But if you're asking me, them at their most powerful, in a three-way fight where one battling the other is probably going to weaken the victor, and then the other guy is going to come in and clean up house, most likely, I'm going to go Thanos, because Thanos is probably the most conniving among the three. I mean, actually, well, that's not entirely true. Shao Kahn is pretty conniving, but in terms of the history of how conniving they are, Thanos is someone who definitely has no problem stabbing someone in the back. Of course, Darkseid doesn't either, but he would probably be focused on Shao Kahn because he is a legitimate multiversal being versus a legitimate multiversal being, as opposed to the universal being with the power to take on a multiversal being. God, that's wordy. So, base form to base form, I'm going Darkseid. Most powerful form to most powerful form, I tentatively say Thanos, but I'm willing to have people correct me. Say, Darkseid this is wrong, or you fool, Shao Kahn this. Sure, okay, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I will say, base form to base form, it's Darkseid. Most powerful form to most powerful form, I'm going to tentatively say Thanos. I think he's the more conniving strategist overall, and I think that because he wouldn't be a multiversal individual, they would maybe look at him as the weaker of the two. And maybe wouldn't look at him as quite as big a threat as the other two. I think Shao Kahn would also view Darkseid as the bigger threat than Thanos. I would, because again, multiversal being versus a multiversal being, they recognize that about each other. But, you don't want to underestimate someone like Thanos. You really don't. So, that's my thoughts on that, who would win. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win. Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if, anything to do with the channel. Put that on the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Sorry, I got a burp coming up. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.